You are wasting your life and you know it. Time is moving and you are not. Time is moving whether you are or not. That is the first thing you need to understand. It does not slow down for you. It does not wait for you to be ready at all. It does not pause while you figure things out. It moves every day, every hour, every second, every moment. And while it is moving, you are making a decision. Not a loud one, not a dramatic one, a quiet one. What you do with it or what you don't. Most people think they have time. Plenty of time. Time to figure it out. Time to start later. Time to take things seriously. Eventually. But eventually is where people hide. Because eventually does not require action. It requires intention. And intention is easy. It costs nothing. It demands nothing. You can intend to change for years. You can plan for decades. You can think about what you could be without ever becoming it. And time keeps moving. That is the part people ignore. You are not standing still. You are falling behind. Every day you delay is a day you do not get back. Every day you avoid is a day that compounds. Not in your favor, against you. Because time is not neutral. It rewards action and it exposes inaction over time. That is why people wake up one day and feel behind. Not because something sudden happened. Because nothing happened for too long. That is how life is wasted. Not through failure, through delay, through hesitation, through waiting for the right moment that never comes. You are not waiting. You are not postponing your life. And while you postpone it, time is not pausing with you. It is moving forward without you. That is the truth. And most people don't want to face it because it creates urgency, real urgency, not motivation, pressure, the kind that says you don't have forever. And you don't. You don't have unlimited chances. You don't have endless time. You have now. And what do you do with now? It becomes your life, not later, now. And if your now is filled with delay, distraction, and avoidance, then your life will reflect that. Not because you wanted it to, because you allowed it to. Distraction is stealing your life. You are not just wasting time, my friends. You are giving it away to things that do not matter. Think for a second where your time goes, not where you say it goes. Where it actually goes. Your phone, your screen, your distractions, hours, every day, gone, not invested, consumed. And the dangerous part is this: it does not feel like waste. It feels normal. It feels like a break. It feels like you deserve it. And that is how it works. Because it felt like loss. You would stop, but it does not. It feels like relief. Relief from effort. Relief from pressure. Relief from thinking about your life. So you return to it again and again and again until hours become days. Days become months. Months become years. And nothing changes because distraction feels like movement without requiring any. You scroll, you watch, you consume, you react, but you do not build. You do not create nothing. You don't move forward. And over time, that matters because life is built. through what you do repeatedly. And right now, you are repeating distraction. Not discipline, not focus, not action, distraction. And distraction is expensive. Not because of what it gives you, because of what it takes. Your time, your focus, your potential. And it takes it quietly, without resistance, without consequence, in the moment. That is why it is dangerous, because the cost shows up later when you realize you spent years doing nothing that mattered. You know exactly what you are doing. You already know. That is the part you don't say out loud. You already know what you are doing. You already know where your time is going. You already know what you are avoiding. You already know what you should be doing and what you are not doing. This is not confusion. This is not lack of information. This is not figuring it out. This is avoidance. Clear, intentional, repeated. You don't need another plan. You do not need another strategy. You do not need more advice. You need to stop pretending that you don't see it, because you do. You feel it in the moments when you should act, but don't. In the moments when you know what matters, but choose something else. In the moments when you say, I will do it later, knowing you won't. That moment is where your life is decided, not in your goals, not in your plans, in that decision. Act or avoid. And most of the time you avoid, not because you can't act, because it is uncomfortable, because it requires effort, because it exposes you. And exposure is what you are protecting yourself from. Because if you try seriously, you can fail seriously. And if you fail seriously, you lose the excuse. You lose the story. I could have done more. I just did not try. That story protects you. It protects your identity. It protects your ego. It costs your life, because potential that is never tested never becomes real. You do not lack ability. You lack execution. And execution is a choice. Repeated daily. You wake up and you decide, not consciously, automatically, based on what you have been doing, based on what you have been allowing, and what you have been allowing is avoidance. So you repeat it again and again and again. And then you ask yourself, why is nothing changing? Because you are not changing. Not where it matters, not in your actions, not in your standards, not in your behavior. And behavior is the only thing that counts. Not what you feel, not what you think, not what you say, what you do. Repeatedly. That is your life. And right now, your life is showing you something. It is showing you exactly who you are. Not who you want to be, not who you imagine. Who you are, based on what you repeat. And if you don't like what you see, there is only one reason. You are not doing what you know you should be doing. That is it. Not complicated, not mysterious. Simple and uncomfortable, which is why you avoid it. But avoidance does not remove the truth. It delays it. And delayed truth becomes regret. You do not need clarity. You need honesty. You do not need direction. You need execution. You do not need more time. You need better use of the time you already have. Because time is not your problem. Your decisions are. What you choose to do with it, what you choose not to do. That is the difference between the life you have and the life you could have. Not talent, not luck, not timing. Choice. Repeated. You already know. That is what makes the difference. This is not new information. This is not something you are hearing for the first time. This is something you have been avoiding. quietly, consistently, you know where your time goes. You know what you are not doing. You know what you keep delaying. You know what actually matters. And you know you are not giving it what it requires. That is not confusion. That is awareness without action. And awareness without action becomes frustration. Because part of you sees clearly. Part of you knows what needs to change, knows what needs to be done, knows what you are capable of, and the other part does nothing, avoids, delays, distracts. And that gap between what you know and what you do is where your life is being lost. Not in ignorance, in inaction. You don't need clarity, you need alignment. Alignment between what you know and what you execute. Right now, they are not aligned, and that is why you feel it. That tension, that frustration, that quiet pressure, that something is off, because something is off. You are out of alignment with your own standards, with your own potential, with your own awareness. And when that happens, you create noise. You distract yourself. You stay busy. You fill your time. Not because you have nothing to do, because you don't want to face what you are not doing. That is the truth. You don't need more time. You need to stop hiding, because that is what this is. Hiding. Hiding inside distractions. Hiding inside being busy. Hiding inside planning instead of executing. And it works. It works because it keeps you comfortable. It keeps you from feeling the full weight of what you are avoiding. But it doesn't remove it. It delays it. And delayed truth becomes something heavier. It becomes pressure. Pressure that builds every time you do not act. Every time you delay. Every time you say, I will do it later. And later never comes. Because later is not a time. It is a pattern of avoidance. And patterns build lives. Not intentions, not plans, patterns. So your life right now is not confusing. It is consistent. Consistent with what you repeat. Consistent with what you tolerate. Consistent with what you avoid. That is why nothing changes, because you haven't changed where it matters. In your actions, in your standards, in your execution. You think the problem is outside of you. It's not. It is what you repeat daily, quietly, without questioning it, until it becomes your life. Breaking the illusion. You say you want more, but your behavior says you don't. You say you are serious, but your action says you're not. You say you are ready, but your patterns say you are avoiding. And patterns don't lie, they reveal. They show you exactly who you are. Not what you imagine, not who you intend to be. Who you are, based on what you repeat. And if you don't like what you see, there is only one place to look. Your behavior. Because behavior is the only thing that changes outcomes. Not thoughts, not ideas, not intentions, action. Repeated, that's it. And you already know that. Which is why this is uncomfortable. Because there is no confusion left. Only responsibility. The life you could have had. There is a version of your life that you will never see. Not because it was not possible. Because you did not build it. That is the hardest truth. Not that you failed. That you never fully tried. There are things you could have done, paths you could have taken, skills you could have built, a level you could have reached, and you saw it at some point in your life. You felt it, that version of you, more focused, more disciplined, more serious, more consistent. But you didn't become it. Not because you could not, because you did not commit to it. You did not repeat it. You did not stay with it long enough for it to become real. So it stayed an idea, a possibility, a what if. And what if is where regret lives. Because what if cannot be answered. It can only be imagined. And imagination can be painful because you can see it, the life you could have built, the person you could have been, and you know it was available to you. That is what makes it heavy. Not loss, responsibility. You had time, you had opportunity, you had the ability, but you did not use it. Not fully, not consistently. And time does not wait. It moves. And when it moves, it takes opportunity with it. Opportunities expire. Moments pass. Chances disappear. Not dramatically, quietly, until one day you look back and you realize that version of your life is gone. Not because it was impossible, because you did not build it when you could. And that realization is heavy because you know exactly where it slipped. The days you delayed, the moments you avoided, the times you chose comfort instead of action. Those moments stacked and they became your life, not intentionally, but consistently. You will not regret the effort. You will regret the avoidance. You will not regret trying. You will regret waiting. You will not regret discipline. You will regret comfort, because comfort feels good now, but it costs you later. And later is where reality shows up. Not what you wanted, what you built. The life you are losing. There is a version of your life that you are losing. Right now, not all at once. Moment by moment. Every time you choose comfort over action. Every time you delay what you know matters. Every time you avoid what would actually move you forward. You are trading something. You are trading a future for a moment of ease, a moment of comfort, a moment of relief. And that trade feels small in the moment, but it compounds over time into something bigger, a different life, a smaller life, a life that reflects what you chose instead of what you could have built. And the hardest part is that you will see it. At some point, you will look at your life and recognize the gap between what is and what could have been. And that gap is not abstract. It is specific. It is built from the decisions you made and the ones you didn't. The effort you gave and the effort you avoided. The standards you held and the ones you lowered. It all adds up quietly until it becomes undeniable. And when it becomes undeniable, you don't feel confused. You feel something else. Regret. Not loud, not dramatic, heavy, because it carries truth. The truth that you had time. The truth that you had the ability. The truth that you could have done more. And you didn't. You did not. Not because you couldn't, because you chose not to. That is what makes it heavy. Responsibility. You cannot blame anyone. You cannot explain it away. You cannot rewrite it. You can only face it. And that is why people avoid this, because they know where it leads. You will not regret effort. You will regret hesitation. You will not regret discipline. You will regret comfort. You will not regret trying. You will regret waiting, because effort ends, but regret stays. It stays in your thoughts, in your reflection, in the quiet moments when there is nothing left to distract you. And in those moments, you will see it clearly, the life you could have built, the person you could have been, and the distance between that and where you are. That distance is built from time. Time you cannot recover. Time that moved while you delayed, while you avoided, while you chose comfort. And time does not give second chances to the same moment. It only moves forward without you. Or if you don't move with it, it's gone. Decide now. So now you have a choice. Not tomorrow, not later. Right now. Right this moment. You can continue. Continue repeating. Continue delaying. Continue avoiding. And nothing changes. Or, and this is a big or, you can decide. Not emotionally, not temporarily, structurally, through action, through standards, through repetition. You do not need to feel ready. you need to act differently. You don't need motivation. You need commitment. You don't need another plan. You need execution, because your life is not waiting for you. It is being built right now through what you do or what you avoid. And if you don't change that, nothing else will change. Not your results, not your future, not your life, because your life is a reflection of what you repeat. So decide, who are you going to be, not in theory, in action, starting now, because this moment is where it changes or stays the same, and you already know which one you have been choosing. This is the moment. So this is it. Not a speech, not motivation, a decision point, because everything you have heard comes down to one thing: what you do next. Not what you feel, not what you think, what you do. Because your life is not changed by intention. It is changed by action, repeated. And right now, you are repeating something that is building your life, whether you like it or not. So the question is simple. Do you continue or do you change? Do you repeat or do you interrupt? Do you stay the same or do you become something else? Because you cannot do both. You cannot keep your current patterns and expect a different life. You cannot protect your comfort and build something uncomfortable. You cannot delay and expect progress. It does not work that way. It never has. So if you are going to change, it has to be real, not emotional, not temporary, structural. You act differently. You repeat differently. You enforce standards that your current identity does not support, and you keep doing it, even when it feels unnatural, even when it feels uncomfortable, even when it feels like effort, because that is how you know you are changing. You are no longer acting like the same person. And if you do that long enough, you stop being that person. And that is the goal. Not improvement, replacement. A different version of you, built through action, proven through repetition, sustained through standards. That is how your life changes. Not later, now, through what you do. After this ends, because this moment is where your life is decided. Not in theory, in action. So decide, and then prove it. Thank you very much. Transforming people's lives. The Kingdom Sanctuary of Eden and Outreach Ministries. With our clothing bins all over, we're collecting clothes and shoes and giving it out to all in the communities, in the cities, and all over the world. Wherever there is a need, the Kingdom Sanctuary of Eden is there to fulfill it. Please continue all your donations, whether it be clothes, food, shoes, or monetary donations, so we can take care of God's people all over the world. The donation starts with you. Let's build the kingdom together.